Garfield comic strip. Garfield is a comic strip created by an alleged homosexual and communist Jim Davis. It chronicles the life of the eponymous cat Garfield, his owner John Arbuckle, and Odie, a dog. Garfield is a very popular comic strip thanks to its promotion of liberal values. Garfield's laziness, obsessive eating, hate towards honest work, or any work for that matter, and violence against Odie is presented as a positive thing, clearly trying to appeal to the strip's communist readers. Homosexual themes are also very common in the strip, as well as themes of gender confusion, which is visible in the character of Normal, who is often mistaken for a female cat because of his feminine appearance. I am quite surprised at how short the Duke Nukem 3D entry is here. I am very surprised the pig cops are not brought up. Okay, violent video games. Violent video games are video games that portray horrific virtual violence. Research suggests that teenagers playing these games may become desensitized to violent and criminal acts. In a particular study, specifically children who were diagnosed with neurotic behavior and predisposition to aggression reacted to violent stimuli brought by the video game, though not all of them showed aggressive behavior as a consequence. Examples of violent video games include Grand Theft Auto, it's violent, not saying it's a bad thing, but definitely violent. Doom and Quake are first-person shooter games wherein a player roams around various levels killing demonic creatures. While not appearing very violent compared to more recent FPS games, the games have been described as murder simulators and were blamed as inspiration for the Columbine massacre as well as other school shootings. I'm gonna call bullshit. Okay, there were mass shootings. There weren't many, but there were mass shootings before Doom and Columbine. I think the first major one was in the 60s. And then there was the post office one in, 89. Postal 2 Apocalypse Weekend. Only Apocalypse Weekend. The rest of Postal 2, completely fine, completely safe. Go ahead, show it to your children. And Reddit. Other features in the Postal series include urinating on people's head to make them vomited in disgust using cats as shotgun silencers, and playing fetch with dogs using human heads. All specifically Postal 2. Though, oh my god, they must think that Postal 2 Apocalypse Weekend is the actual name of the game. They must think that's, the subtitle. Because I doubt they've ever actually played any of these games. Also, you're not gonna bring up Postal 1? Postal 1 is, Postal 2, it's violent, but it's all cartoonish. It's very, it's hard to be genuinely disturbed by Postal 2. Postal 1 is the one that's, really fucked up. Excuse me, clearing my throat. The Punisher, yeah. But, again, not necessarily a bad thing. Resident Evil, it feels unfair to compare violence against zombies to violence against people on the same list, especially with Doom. The Doom, you're not shooting any people. I think you're not shooting any actual people in that game, so it's hard to say. Doom and Quake, most of the retro FPS games, I guess. Wolfenstein, well, no. Wolfenstein, you're also not shooting real people. So, they don't count. And I guess Blood, you're shooting people. But they're, because the cultist. But for the most part, you're not shooting real humans. You're not shooting real humans except for in Blood. I'll just say that. Manhunt, yeah. Yeah, again, it probably shouldn't be on the same level as, Resident Evil or Doom and Quake, but Fortnite. Fucking Fortnite. Seriously. You're gonna have Manhunt and then put Fortnite immediately after it for violence? I don't even think you actually die in that game. You just get teleported away. A battle royale first-person shooter where a player... Well, okay, battle royale is based on the book, which is pretty violent. There's a movie. Where a player is placed on an island with 99 other players. The point of the game, as with any battle royale game, is to kill the other players and become the last man standing. The game uses a sort of arcade... I wouldn't call it arcade style of graphics. That's an odd way to put it. But it is very cartoony, and it's questionable whether or not the characters canonically die. Like, I'm not sure what the entire story of Fortnite is, but, like, there's no gore or blood, and you just kind of fall on the ground on all fours and then collapse, I think. Object is still to kill other players, which can be slightly graphical. Voices and chat can also be used abusively. Only in Fortnite, am I right? Silent Hill, God of War, Condemned. Declared this to be free speech and struck down the Minnesota law that prohibited minors from purchasing or renting video games bearing mature or adult-only rating. Okay, bisexual. Bisexual refers to a person with both heterosexual and homosexual desires. Bisexuality is in direct conflict with biblical. It's not in direct conflict with bisexual teaching. It is in very direct conflict with biblical teachings, though, I suppose. 90% of men aged 18 to 44 consider themselves to be heterosexual. 2.3 homosexual, 1.8 is bisexual, 3.9 is something else. But we don't need, the women's survey, because the girls are icky, and we don't want their numbers. 82% of all American Protestant ministers agreed with the statement, homosexuality is a choice people make. However, the Catholic Catechism states they do not choose their homosexual condition. For most of them, it is a trial. While they may not choose their desires, homosexuals do have the ability to choose on whether they act on those desires. Homosexual acts as grave depravity, blah blah blah. Intrinsically disordered. Contrary to natural law, but it does occur in nature. With a lot of animals. I think swans especially. Hey, shoutouts to the Kinsey scale. Let's fucking go. Rank sexual desires from 0 to 6. Surface. This was... I got here from the random page. Because... I think there's some things that need to be ironed out with this website. Surface is the outmost level of a given object. It can also mean an outward appearance that's distinguished from an inner nature. He seems nice on the surface, but he's really deceitful. Liberals are often different on the surface than they are in actuality. We've made mathematical concepts and just basic language political now. American Idiot is the name of a song by the liberal band Green Day. The song was written by and sung by a bisexual and liberal musician, Billy Joe Armstrong, is a series of shameful, baseless attacks on the United States, its institutions, and its people. American Idiot, which joins a number of other anti-American, anti-Christian songs on an album of the same name, also contains profanity among its hateful lyrics. The song was originally written out of spite for George W. Bush's re-election as president, and presumably out of spite for the country, its institutions, and its people as well. 6 years after the song's release, a musical was made based on the controversial album. Unsurprisingly, the music's first shows were in California's Bay Area. Examples of anti-Americanism. All across the alien nation, where everything isn't meant to be okay. I'm not part of a redneck agenda. Now everybody do the propaganda and sing along to the age of paranoia. One nation controlled by the media. Information age of hysteria. It's calling out to idiot America. Wait, I thought this entire thing, this entire website was about how the media is controlling things and you had to create your own thing. Do you disagree with this? Is this really anti-America? It's only anti-America when he says it, not when we say it. I guess it's the logic, whatever. The moral impact of Nirvana. The moral impact of Nirvana is difficult to gauge directly from their lyrics, as the band pursued an extremely abstract form of songwriting, which is for liberals. Few of the band's songs give direct plot line and can only be concretely judged for appropriateness by the overall theme of the expressions and vocabulary used. Themes of nihilism and alienation. Probably the most condemning argument which can be made against Nirvana is that their music fails to be morally uplifting, such as being a nihilist. Silence. Here I am silent. Brought and clear. It's what I am, I have died. Endless nameless. From Nevermind album. I've got some rope, you have been told, promise you, ever true, let me take a ride, cut yourself, want some help to help myself, Polly New Wave. That is a very fucked up song, by the way. Good song, fucked up. However, it must be noted that Polly was written in response to a series of rapes in the area and was written to prevent the act of rape rather than to promote it. Glad they're at least, acknowledging that part. Most clearly objectionable song performed by Nirvana on a Nirvana album was their cover of the song Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam, originally by indie rock band The Vaselines, on the Unplugged in New York album. Good album. The song is a disrespectful parody of the Sunday school song Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam, in which the lyrics are mossed with atheistic messages. Jesus don't want me for a sunbeam. Sunbeams are not made like me. Don't expect me to cry for all the reasons you had to die. Don't ever ask your love of me. Elvis is no longer the king of dead celebrities. Oh boy, the morality of Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain was a liberal and immoral man. He supported homosexuality as a norm. He himself had strong homosexual tendencies. He dated he was straight. But I guess they mean, like, not manly. But I'm guessing they mean he acted gay. He and Nirvana bassist Chris Novoselic once made out on Saturday Night Live, allegedly for the sole purpose of shocking the viewers and disrupting the moral fabric of American family values. He's also a strong advocate of radical feminism. Cobain is quoted as saying many anti-Christian statements as well. In his song Stay Away, he uses the phrase, God is gay. He is also a well-known vandal and drug user throughout his life. He also supported abortion. Cobain may have also been an anarchist as he grew up listening to underground anarchist punk bands. Other evidence of this can be seen in the Smells Like Teen Spirit video, which has tattooed cheerleaders with anarchy logos appearing on their outfits as they perform at a pep rally in a high school gym and as the students at the rally starting a riot. Okay, let's look at some of the worst liberal cartoons. American Dad. Okay, I'm just assuming anything by Seth MacFarlane is considered, it's gonna be pretty bad to these people. Arthur, gay Mr. Ratburn, I'm guessing. BoJack Horseman, world of both human and anthropomorphic animals, talking horses, faded 90s sitcom star. and his friend live by Hollywood values, sexual immorality, and existentialism and drug abuse. Whatever. Caillou, you know what? I wouldn't say it's liberal, but it does fucking suck. Kill that little shit. Captain Planet. Liberal elitist Ted Turner created this environmentalist superhero cartoon. Ooh. Imagine being offended by fucking Captain Planet. Kid named Code Next Door. Children ages 12 and under work in a global secret agency to fight villains around adult stereotypes in this obvious metaphor for nihilism. Obviously. Feminist subtext is present too. Girls in a position of authority, often superior to those of boys, which does not happen in real life. What looks like a cute series about a child doctor who fixes living stuffed toys actually pushes homosexual propaganda. Dora the Explorer, this interactive series forces young audiences to accept multiculturalism by teaching them Spanish. Forcefully. Yeah, Family Guy, obviously. Yeah. Look how much they fucking wrote about Family Guy. Fucking Family Guy. Johnny Test. I can't believe they're not mentioning the theme song very clearly being the anti-American theme, American Idiot. That was a callback. Also, that song, listen to the Johnny Test theme song. It is just American fucking Idiot. The Legend of Zelda, besides suffering from the natural effects of low budget and low effort scripting and animation. Excuse me, princess. This short-lived insult to the otherwise apolitical medieval fantasy video game series from Nintendo pushes feminism. Protagonist Link is a wisecracking show-off and a slacker, while Princess Zelda participates more often in the action and is smarter and more competent than Link. God. Muppet Babies. Including Gonzo. Gonzo has always cross-dressed. Gonzo's always been like that. Gonzo has not changed. From my recollection, Gonzo was just kind of always like that. Liberals adore this series because its hidden messages in line with their worldviews, such as socialism, environmentalism, feminism, and secularism. Obviously, initially made for young girls, the show has unexpectedly attracted a worldwide cult following of young adult to adult men who call themselves bronies, suggesting homosexuality, or at the very least emotional immaturity, in the fan base. Perhaps a much more apparent problem is that these is the threat the cartoon poses to the traditional ideas of masculinity as more men become attracted to it. Yeah, of course, Evangelion. The fucking Nut Shack. I've never seen the Nut Shack. I have no desire to see the Nut Shack. But can it be considered to have any values? Is it really liberal if it has no values? But I guess they would argue it would. But whatever. Panty and Stocking. Aww. Paw Patrol? The show had been great for years, but as fall 2023, there is now talk of a non-binary character being added to the Paw Patrol spin-off series Rubble and Crew. Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon, so nihilistic that even liberals and Ren and Stimpy fans hated the show. It did suck. Rick and Morty, that is a lot about Rick and Morty. Santa Inc., yeah, I remember that one sucked. Star Wars Resistance. Another campaign homosexuality. I think there's a typo. Campaign 4. 2 aliens are heavily implied to be homosexual. make the Tamara Rivera defects to the First Order. In another episode, she mentions to the latter group wants to make the Galaxy Sabers again. Dumb subtle reference to Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Oh my fucking god. How much do you need to write about Steven Universe? Oh god, even more Steven Universe! Velma, we just tried to forget exists. Voltron. Homosexual agenda. And Go Wild Thornberries, because environmentalist show where Elijah talks to animals. And shows poor family values.